Good morning. Thanks for clicking on the video. This one starts where the last one left off, and I figured I'd start with the orange-breasted waxbills. These are the 4 older chicks. And this is sort of the last thing that I expected to happen, and the rest of the last couple of weeks have been pretty strange. So just to remind you, they are sharing the aviary with 2 other orange-breasted pairs. One pair has chicks that are about 5 days behind these. One pair is incubating, and then there's a pair of black-cheeked waxbills that are also incubating. So since the last video, these guys have showed up. And these are the younger chicks. Get ready, here's the volume difference in begging that 5 days makes. So the first weirdness thing that happened is that there were 4 chicks, and sometimes it's a little hard to tell, but there are 3 chicks here, and I could not find the 4th chick. Not anywhere, not in the nest, not hiding. Checked as best I could, as carefully as I could. So I was pretty worried, as you can imagine, and kind of thinking back to earlier in the summer when I got the mice in the aviary. And I do know I have slugs in the aviary because of the compost bin. I'd pick them out, the little teeny tiny ones, and I thought, oh gosh, what if something happened to the chick? And, that sort of thing. And a couple days go by. They're still feeding 3 chicks, and I'm waiting quietly to see if there's anything, and then I hear a little bit of crashing. I wait quietly. I'm sitting in the vestibule hiding, watching. And here this little guy shows up, and he's got a bad wing. So somehow he's been hiding, and the parents, of course, are taking care of him. You can see he's doing just fine. Not behind the other chicks at all, but just got a troubled wing. And then the lavender finches, who made a big elaborate nest in the willow tree in the aviary but never laid any eggs, built a new nest on a canary basket. Middle section here, right up there, is a lavender finch nest. And in case somebody asks about sexing lavender finches, it's really hard visually, maybe unreliable in fact. But here the female has the black band. She's smaller than the male, and her tail is redder. The male has a more maroon tone to the tail. But maybe the more reliable way is that the males have a lovely little tiny delicate song. So I always think this is super cool. They could basically jump directly from the perch to the entrance, but that would not be enough athleticism and drama. And lavender finches are good at both. So they have this great little hovering behavior that they do. And oftentimes the entrance tube is much longer than it is here. I didn't give them a ton of nesting material because I wasn't expecting them to want to build another nest. Okay, so the latest update on these guys now is that they are sitting on at least 3 eggs, and I've separated out this middle chunk of the cages so they can have it to themselves. Okay, so moving to the weirdness next door. These are the black-cheeked waxbills. They were sitting on 3 eggs. So I had the 2 pair, one in the aviary, one here. And a couple days before they were due to hatch, it was obvious they were infertile. So the day that I published the last video, I made a decision to pull the eggs from the black-cheeked pair in the aviary. That pair always produces fertile eggs, and they always fail to feed and or toss and or bite their chicks. This pair has never had chicks. So I thought, if I quick swap the eggs, which were about a week behind, if they're fertile, maybe this pair can take care of them, and because they're in the basement, maybe I can intervene if I see something's going wrong. So I did. I pulled this nest out. I pulled the nest out of the aviary, and sure enough, there were 3 fertile eggs in the aviary nest. So I swapped them really quick and put this nest back in, and I can't believe it, but this pair went back to incubating. And I'm not going to bug them, but there are 3 chicks that are 7 days old now. So crossing fingers, and it's all going great. But meanwhile, I had to have a plan B. So that brings me to these guys. So over here, I have the twin spot chicks from last spring that are coloring up. And they are getting ready to go to their new homes. In fact, these 4 I just caught. They're a little upset with me. And they've already shipped out. And then there's a couple more that are going to head out. And then I've got some parrot finch boys that live here, and my strawberry females and whatnot. Okay. So I decided, since this space could be emptied readily, I just spread the birds out, I should have a way to take over the incubation if necessary, and raising the chicks if necessary. And so I did something I never ever thought I would do again, and I added these 2 guys to the family. They're 2 male society or Bengalese finches, and as you know, they can be very helpful in fostering chicks of other species. So thankfully, of course, because I had a plan, I didn't need it. But you never know. And they'll just live here happily, not making babies, because they're both male. And they are delightful birds in their own right. And I used to use them many years ago as fosters, and got away from the practice just because I realized that I wasn't learning much about how to take care of the biological parents, because they were just a solution to let the fosters do all the work. So now I prefer to do that, learning myself. But there are reasons why some of these hard to breed species are hard to breed, and I have not learned everything I need to learn. So having a plan B just seems both smart and, I don't know, the right thing to do, I guess, in my mind. So anyway, that's what's going on with those guys. And thankfully, there's a local breeder who could spare a couple for me, and I really appreciate her assistance. And then just to add to the weirdness, I let one of the birds get out of the box. It's almost impossible to make that mistake, but I did.
Over here. There you go. Okay, I gotta get your buddy. Where did he go? I see him. I see him. Hi, what's he doing over here? There you go. Good job. Nice. You're sitting in the food dish, huh? There. Hi, guys.
Okay, so there's that. Now back to the aviary for the latest and greatest from this morning, I guess, on the babies in the aviary.
Hi. The gold-breasted babies are doing great. Orange-breasted babies are doing great. I'm trying to figure out, I guess that answers the question. I'm trying to figure out, hi.